Your aura terrifies them. 6 psychological signs you're too powerful for most people to handle. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung. When your aura is powerful, you don't have to speak loudly or demand attention. Your presence alone shakes the room. Some people may feel threatened, uncomfortable, or even intimidated by your silent strength, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your authenticity exposes their masks and insecurities. Today, on Spiritual Wisdom, we're uncovering the 6 psychological signs that reveal why your aura is too powerful for most people to handle, and how embracing these traits can lead to more confidence, fulfillment, and spiritual alignment. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments, have you ever felt like others were uneasy around you for no clear reason? Your answer might just reveal the true depth of your inner power. 1. Your presence acts as a mirror. Your aura is not loud, but it is powerful in a way that unsettles people who still depend on their masks. You do not have to speak to shift the entire atmosphere in a room. Your grounded presence already does it for you. When you show up as your authentic self, aligned with your truth, others immediately feel something happening inside them, something they cannot quite name. Their energy shifts. Their eyes linger. Some become curious, others defensive. Your existence sends a silent signal. Honesty lives here. And honesty is the last thing many people are ready to face during their spiritual awakening. Your presence functions like a mirror that reflects their deepest insecurities and unresolved emotional wounds. They suddenly become aware of their own masks, their fears of rejection, their discomfort with vulnerability. While you are simply existing, they feel exposed. It is not because you judge them. It is because your energy reveals the truth they try so hard to hide, even from themselves. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Your aura forces that unconscious material to rise to the surface, and for many, that is terrifying. You live with a level of self-awareness that many have avoided their entire lives. When you say yes, you mean yes. When you say no, you do not apologize. This spiritual wisdom and inner clarity highlight where others bend themselves just to feel accepted. You do not shrink to make others comfortable, and that courage exposes where they constantly shrink. You do not perform. You do not pretend. You do not depend on validation. That reality reminds them of how deeply disconnected they are from who they truly are. Your energy carries a silent demand for authenticity, not through pressure, through presence. And the ego fears presence. When someone looks at you, it is as if they are being seen twice, once by you and once by their own shadow. They begin questioning whether the life they show to the world is really the life their soul desires. This internal confrontation is the first step of a spiritual awakening, but many choose escape instead of transformation. They might avoid you, gossip about you, or project negativity onto you, not realizing they are reacting to the mirror, not the person. Still, the impact you leave is undeniable. You might notice that people either deeply admire you or feel strangely threatened by you. Very rarely is there a neutral response. Souls who are ready for growth will feel drawn to you, inspired by your confidence, honesty, and emotional strength. Those who cling to illusion will feel judged even when you stay silent. Your aura does not attack them, it awakens them. An awakening hurts before it heals. Your power is the truth you embody without effort. You do not teach by lecturing, you teach by being. Your spirituality is not a performance. It is a lived experience. You are the reminder that there is more depth to life than the surface everyone hides behind. And that reminder, that reflection, is why your aura terrifies some, even while it inspires others. Because the moment they meet you, they also meet themselves. If this message resonates with you, show your strength in the comments by writing, "I accept my powerful presence." 2. You set boundaries without guilt. You set boundaries without guilt, and that alone reveals a powerful stage of your spirituality and spiritual development, because you finally understand that true love never demands self-abandonment. You're done shrinking yourself, over-explaining, or sacrificing your peace just to make others comfortable, because you now know that people who truly respect you do not require justification for your choices. No has become a complete sentence. Your boundaries are not rejection, they are clarity, and clarity makes manipulators nervous. When you stop allowing guilt to control your decisions, the people who once benefited from your silence may suddenly call you selfish, distant, or cold. But what they truly mean is, "I can no longer use you." Their discomfort has nothing to do with your growth, and everything to do with the fact that your strength exposes their dependence on controlling you. Your aura becomes a mirror that reflects their insecurities, and that is why your firmness feels terrifying to them. You have learned the difference between being kind and being used, the difference between being supportive and being a savior. You refuse emotional hostage-taking, chaos, and guilt-tripping because you refuse to betray yourself. You recognize that peace is more valuable than approval, self-respect more precious than acceptance from the wrong people. Distance becomes a form of wisdom. Silence becomes a form of power. You are no longer afraid of losing those who were never afraid of losing you. Your boundaries are now a protective shield around your energy, calm, firm, and unapologetically honest. This transformation is spiritual courage, choosing yourself, choosing truth, choosing the version of you that you fought to become. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." Because the moment you embrace who you are, you stop tolerating anything less from others. Anyone who walks away because you no longer allow them to step over your limits was never meant to stay. Anyone who becomes angry at your self-respect only reveals their intentions. Let them fall away. The ones who are meant for you will respect your boundaries, will honor your needs, and will celebrate your strength instead of punishing you for it. Protect your time, your energy, your emotional well-being. Protect the new you, the healed you, the you that finally knows your worth. Your powerful aura does not frighten everyone, only the ones who hoped you would stay small. If you're ready to honor your power without guilt, comment below, "My boundaries are sacred." And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss more powerful insights from spiritual wisdom. 3. You radiate calm confidence. You radiate calm confidence, not because you try to stand out, but because you are not afraid to stand alone. Your silence speaks louder than those who shout for attention, and your stillness carries more strength than those who constantly perform. People feel your presence before you ever say a word, and that presence exposes the noise they use to distract themselves from their own insecurities. Carl Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart, and without meaning to, you make others look into theirs. For those who fear their own truth, someone like you becomes unsettling. Those who rely on applause to feel valuable cannot understand how someone can shine without wanting to be seen. Your authenticity becomes the mirror that reveals everything people are trying to hide. When you walk into a room, you do not chase eyes, yet eyes turn toward you. You do not demand respect, yet respect rises naturally. And that quiet self-trust, rooted in spiritual wisdom, disturbs anyone whose confidence is just a mask. People who thrive on attention feel invisible around you, and those who manipulate through noise suddenly lose their power, because your presence proves that control does not come from intimidation, but from alignment. They sense you cannot be swayed by flattery or shaken by judgment, and that threatens the ones who live off chaos. You hold yourself with a rare inner stability. Your yes means yes. Your no means no. You do not shrink to make others comfortable, and you do not stretch yourself thin just to be liked. This clarity makes insecure people uncomfortable because it exposes the boundaries they lack. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." You are that privilege in motion. You are becoming yourself unapologetically. And those who do not yet know who they are will feel fear before they feel admiration. Your calmness is not passive. It is power that has matured. You have mastered the storms inside you, so the storms outside cannot break you. You do not need to prove your worth, argue for attention, or validate your existence. That level of peace looks like danger to those who gain confidence only when others doubt themselves. They worry because they can't predict you. They pull away because they can't control you. They judge you because they can't figure you out. And the more silent you remain, the louder their fears become. So when people act nervous, defensive, or jealous around you, remember, it is not because you are doing too much. It is because you cannot be easily shaken. Your aura tells the truth they avoid. Your energy demands honesty. And your presence challenges others to rise, to heal, to finally face the parts of themselves they keep buried. That is why they stare. That is why they whisper. That is why they fear what they do not understand. You are calm, but not to be underestimated. You are silent, but never small. You are powerful simply by being real. 4. You embody emotional maturity. You embody emotional maturity because you have done the inner work that most people avoid. You feel your emotions with honesty instead of denying them, and you process your pain instead of projecting it onto others. You refuse to make people responsible for wounds that were never theirs to carry. This emotional responsibility is a sign of deep spirituality, a powerful marker of spiritual awakening, because it means you are no longer controlled by fear, insecurity, or emotional chaos. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate." You have courageously made the unconscious conscious, choosing healing instead of blame, reflection instead of reaction. Your calm presence exposes the turmoil that others try to hide. While most people panic, lash out, or escape into distractions, you sit with your discomfort and let it teach you. Your emotional discipline threatens those who use manipulation, guilt, or drama to gain control. They cannot influence someone who knows their own heart. They cannot overpower someone who refuses to abandon themselves for approval. When others feel anxious, you stay grounded. When they get defensive, you stay curious. When they try to pull you into emotional battles, you disengage with grace. That makes your aura feel too powerful for those who depend on chaos to feel significant. You do not chase validation or sacrifice your peace to prove your worth. You know when to speak and when to stay silent. You know when to give and when to walk away. Your boundaries are strong but not cold. You love deeply, yet you refuse to shrink to make others comfortable. This level of emotional maturity becomes a mirror, reflecting people's insecurities back to them. It reveals who is ready to grow and who would rather stay wounded. Some will misunderstand your self-control as apathy, your wisdom as superiority, or your independence as rejection. But the truth is, you simply value your energy too much to waste it on emotional games. Your aura becomes a challenge without saying a word. You ask others to rise higher. Your stability forces people to confront their instability. Your healing reminds them that they too must heal. Your resilience proves that strength is a choice. While they cling to old patterns, you evolve. While they mask their weaknesses, you transform yours into power. What they call intimidating is simply the freedom they have not yet granted themselves. You are the embodiment of emotional maturity, rooted in spiritual wisdom and guided by self-awareness. You are proof that real power is quiet, grounded, and compassionate. Your aura terrifies those who are not ready to take responsibility for their own emotional world. And while they may try to resist your growth, they cannot deny the truth your presence reveals. You are rare, powerful, and rising into who you were always meant to become. If you're ready to rise above chaos and walk with emotional maturity, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss powerful insights like this. Comment below. My emotional maturity is my true strength. 5. You see through illusions. You see through illusions because your inner world stays aligned with truth rather than appearances, giving you a rare clarity that feels almost unsettling to those who survive by pretending. You instantly notice what is not being said, feel emotions people try to hide, and sense the distance between someone's polished image and their real intentions. You do not shame anyone or call out their masks, but simply by being present, you encourage authenticity, and that alone can terrify those who cling to a false identity they are afraid to lose. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate." And you are the kind of person who brings the unconscious to the surface without saying a word. Your discernment shifts the energy whenever you enter a room. Eyes turn not because you are loud, but because your aura demands honesty. Those who rely on manipulation, pleasing, or performance feel exposed in your presence, since your gaze, calm and observant, sees beyond the performance and into the truth they refuse to acknowledge. You show people who they are without judgment, but the truth can feel like a spotlight to someone who has lived in shadows. You are spiritually developed enough to understand that connection must be real to matter, so you don't waste time with surface-level living. You have outgrown conversations that go nowhere and relationships built on pretense. This spiritual maturity challenges the superficial norms around you, where many value validation more than integrity. Your quiet confidence disrupts that system. It sends a clear message. Masks are not welcome here. People who depend on their masks feel threatened not by your actions, but by your authenticity, because you remind them of who they could be if they stopped running from themselves. Some will distance themselves from you, not because you hurt them, but because being near you forces them to confront their own insecurities. Others will be drawn to you, craving your presence like a breath of fresh air, because you make honesty feel safe and liberation feel possible. Your spiritual development has given you a power that needs no explanation, no forcing, no noise. You simply exist, and truth follows. So remember this: your gift is not to expose or embarrass people. It is to live in alignment and allow others the chance to rise. Your presence will inspire the brave and challenge the fearful. The reactions you receive are not a measure of your worth, but a reflection of the depth of your authenticity. Keep seeing what others hide. Keep feeling what others suppress. And never apologize for the clarity that makes you powerful. 6. You're at peace with being misunderstood. You have reached a level of spiritual awakening where you no longer fear being misunderstood, because deep down, you know that people can only meet you at the level of their own awareness and healing. As Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, and you are finally stepping into that truth without apology. You have outgrown the need for approval, validation, and constant explanation. Instead of bending your identity to be likable or accepted, you choose peace over proving yourself, authenticity over fitting in, and self-respect over temporary popularity. You no longer shrink or tone yourself down just to avoid making others uncomfortable, because you understand that your presence itself can shift the entire atmosphere in a room. Your energy exposes illusions, your clarity reveals confusion, and your honesty confronts the denial others rely on to protect their fragile sense of self. People who operate from masks, insecurity, and ego can feel threatened by a soul like yours. Without saying a single word, you become a mirror that reflects everything they try to hide: their unhealed wounds, their doubts, their fears. Some will label you intense, arrogant, or too much, simply because your authenticity forces them to see what they are not yet ready to acknowledge within themselves. But instead of trying to explain your intentions or soften your light to comfort them, you allow them to feel whatever they feel while you remain grounded in your power. Your aura disrupts illusions and awakens truth, and that can be terrifying to those who depend on deception to feel safe. Choosing to let misunderstandings exist without chasing anyone's approval is a sign of emotional and spiritual maturity. You honor your voice even when others misinterpret it. You protect your peace even when others don't understand your silence. You follow your path even if others can't comprehend its direction. And you finally recognize that the right people will understand you without needing an explanation, and the wrong ones will misunderstand you no matter how much you explain. By embracing your truth fully and refusing to compromise your essence, you attract only those strong enough to handle your presence and aligned enough to walk beside you. Your spiritual wisdom has taught you a powerful truth. When you choose authenticity, you will lose people who are connected to your mask, but you will find people who are connected to your soul. That is where your true power lies, in the courage to keep shining, keep growing, and keep choosing yourself even when others cannot see your vision or feel your heart. Being misunderstood is not your burden anymore. It is proof that you have risen into a version of yourself that no longer fits inside the world you once tried so hard to please. If you resonate with this truth and choose peace over the need to be understood, let the world know your strength. Comment below, "I am at peace with who I am." And don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate the notification bell so you never miss more powerful insights from spiritual wisdom. In the end, remember this truth: your powerful aura isn't a problem, it's a gift. If some people feel intimidated by your presence, it only reveals their unhealed parts, not your flaws. Stand tall in who you are, protect your energy, and trust that those who are meant to stay will rise to meet you. If this message resonated with you, please give this video a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming insights into personal power and spiritual growth. Your journey continues here. 10 hidden signs you were born gifted. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Have you ever felt different, like you see and sense the world in a deeper way than most? Maybe it's not a flaw, but a hidden sign that you were born gifted. In today's video from Spiritual Wisdom, we'll uncover 10 subtle signs that reveal a rare kind of inner intelligence, one that connects intuition, empathy, and purpose. As you listen, ask yourself, which of these signs resonate with your own life? Comment your thoughts below, and let's begin this journey of self-discovery together, because understanding your gift is the first step toward personal growth and true happiness. 1. Giftedness is often misunderstood. Giftedness is often misunderstood, not because it hides, but because society rarely knows how to recognize it. It's not about high IQ scores or perfect grades. In fact, many truly gifted people spend their lives believing they are broken or flawed because their brilliance doesn't fit conventional molds. They feel too deeply, think too much, and sense the invisible patterns that others overlook. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that is exactly what the gifted soul must learn, to embrace their contradictions as signs of spiritual awakening rather than symptoms of imbalance. They are born with a spiritual sensitivity that makes the ordinary world feel too shallow. Their minds wired to explore truth, meaning, and the deeper nature of existence. Those who are spiritually gifted often carry an inner conflict, a longing for belonging, and a simultaneous resistance to conformity. From childhood, they may have been told they are too intense, too emotional, too serious. But what others perceive as excess is in fact their soul's way of interpreting life at a higher frequency. They read energy the way others read words. They feel emotions like colors, vivid and alive. Their awareness stretches beyond logic into intuition, allowing them to pick up on what is unsaid, unseen, and unspoken. This sensitivity can be exhausting, but it is also sacred. It's a channel through which higher consciousness speaks. Carl Jung described individuation as the process of becoming whole, and for gifted individuals, This journey can feel like a battlefield between mind and spirit. They experience the world through layers of perception, constantly decoding symbols and synchronicities that others dismiss as coincidence. Their solitude is not isolation, it's initiation. The universe often pulls them away from noise and distraction so they can hear the truth within. These dark nights of the soul are not punishments, but passages through which the spirit expands. When they emerge, they carry wisdom that cannot be learned from books, only from surrender. Gifted souls live with an intensity that can be both a burden and a blessing. They absorb emotions like sponges, often confusing others' pain for their own. Yet within this emotional turbulence lies their greatest potential for transformation. Once they learn to manage their energy instead of being consumed by it, their empathy evolves into clarity. Their vulnerability becomes strength, and their intuition becomes guidance. What once felt like chaos begins to align into purpose. This is the true art of spirituality, turning sensitivity into wisdom and pain into awakening. Every challenge becomes a mirror, reflecting the parts of themselves they must integrate to grow. Spiritual awakening teaches that giftedness is not a destination, but a continuous process of remembering. These individuals are not meant to fit in. They are meant to elevate, to question, to inspire others simply by embodying truth. Their depth is not a curse, it's a compass. Their difference is not isolation, it's initiation. When they stop apologizing for their sensitivity and start embracing it as divine design, their entire perception of life shifts. They realize that giftedness is not about superiority, but about responsibility. The responsibility to live consciously, love deeply, and move through life with awareness that their energy shapes reality. Have you ever felt like your gifts were more of a burden than a blessing? If so, share your story in the comments so others can learn from your journey. If you're still discovering what makes you truly gifted, comment, "I'm awakening." And let's uncover the truth of your hidden potential together. 2. Restless mind. A restless mind is not a flaw. It is the signature of a gifted soul. You get bored easily, not because you are careless or impatient, but because your mind processes information at an extraordinary speed. Your thoughts race, your curiosity burns, and your awareness constantly hungers for something deeper. Ordinary routines or small talk cannot satisfy you because your inner world moves faster than the world outside. You crave mental stimulation, not out of distraction, but from a deep spiritual need to grow, evolve, and understand life beyond the surface. This restlessness is not a problem to fix. It is a sign that your consciousness is awakening to higher levels of perception. You can sense things others overlook. You pick up patterns, connections, and meanings hidden beneath what's visible. While many feel comfortable in repetition, you grow restless in stagnation. You need challenge, mystery, and depth to feel alive. Your mind is like a storm of creativity and insight, constantly forming new ideas and possibilities. This is the mark of spiritual intelligence, a consciousness expanding faster than it can be contained. But such a gift often brings loneliness. When others move slowly, you may feel misunderstood or out of place. Yet this very restlessness is your initiation into spiritual awakening. It pushes you to search for truth, to transcend limits, and to align your intellect with your soul. At times, this restless energy can feel overwhelming. It may keep you awake at night or make you feel disconnected from the world around you. But what if this inner movement is not chaos, but divine design? Carl Jung once said, "Restlessness is discontent, and discontent is the first necessity of progress." Your discontent is sacred. It is the universe speaking through your mind, urging you to keep evolving. Instead of silencing your mind, you can learn to direct it toward understanding, creativity, and transformation. Through spirituality and spiritual growth, your restlessness becomes your greatest teacher, reminding you that fulfillment doesn't come from stillness alone, but from conscious engagement with life's mysteries. The gifted mind is like a wild horse, untamed, powerful, and beautiful when free. You cannot force it to slow down through suppression. Instead, you must guide it through awareness. Meditation, mindful breathing, or deep reflection can help you channel this energy, not as chaos, but as clarity. When you learn to pause between thoughts, the noise softens and wisdom begins to speak. The restless mind finds peace not by escaping its speed, but by harmonizing it with the rhythm of the soul. You realize that true calm is not the absence of motion, but the mastery of it. Every restless thought, every craving for new experiences, every question that refuses to leave your mind, they all serve a purpose. They are signs that you were born to explore, to connect the seen and unseen, to bring spiritual wisdom into everyday life. Your restless mind is not your enemy, it is your compass. It leads you toward evolution, toward purpose, toward a deeper state of awareness where curiosity transforms into consciousness and movement becomes meaning. This is how your restlessness turns into revelation, the bridge between intellect and intuition, where the mind becomes a sacred instrument of spiritual growth. 3. Intense emotions. You feel everything so deeply that even the smallest moment can shake your entire being. When happiness arrives, it's overwhelming, almost divine. And when sadness comes, it feels like drowning in an ocean of your own thoughts. Yet this emotional depth is not weakness, it's your strength. As Carl Jung once said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. What you're feeling is life turned up to full volume. You don't just exist, you experience, absorb, and internalize the essence of everything around you. Your sensitivity is the language of your soul, the quiet proof that you were born gifted with a mind that sees meaning where others see none. You sense things others miss, the shift in someone's tone, the hidden sorrow in a smile, the energy that fills a room before anyone speaks. You feel people before you understand them, and often that sensitivity leaves you misunderstood. You've probably been told you're too emotional, too intense, or that you take things too seriously. But the truth is, your emotions are not flaws. They are your superpowers. They connect you to the collective pulse of humanity. You feel the pain others try to hide, and that empathy, though heavy, gives you the ability to heal, to guide, and to understand life at a level few ever reach. Jung believed that gifted people carry an inner tension between their spiritual depth and the outer world's shallow noise. That tension isn't punishment, it's the fire that shapes your consciousness. Sometimes, your heart feels like it's carrying the weight of the world. The suffering of others echoes inside you. Injustice, cruelty, or even silence pierces your being. But what if your emotions were never meant to break you, only to awaken you? Each tear you shed carves space for wisdom to enter. Each moment of heartbreak refines your compassion. Each burst of joy reminds you that your spirit still believes in beauty despite the chaos. The more deeply you feel, the more life teaches you to transform pain into art, confusion into understanding, and despair into a kind of sacred faith. According to Carl Jung's spiritual wisdom, emotions are the bridge between your conscious self and the divine depths of your unconscious. Every emotion you experience carries a message, a mirror reflecting something you need to see or release. The sadness you run from is often an unopened door to your purpose. The anger you suppress may be the voice of your unclaimed power. Until you make the unconscious conscious, Jung said, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. When you begin to listen to your emotions instead of escaping them, you no longer live by fate, you live by awareness. So when your emotions flood you, don't resist them. Feel them. Observe them. Let them move through you without fear. You are not too much. You are simply tuned to a higher frequency of life. This intensity is what allows you to see beyond the surface, to hear what souls whisper in silence, and to turn every experience into understanding. You were born to experience the full spectrum of human feeling, so that through your awakening, others can learn to feel again. Your emotions are not storms to survive. They are the winds of transformation that carry your spirit toward its highest form of consciousness. 4. Self-doubt. Gifted people often live in a constant dialogue with their own minds, questioning every thought, decision, and path, as if the act of doubt itself were a sacred ritual of self-examination. Their self-doubt does not arise from weakness, but from awareness, the kind of awareness that sees far beyond appearances. They notice every imperfection, every gap in understanding, and instead of admiring what they already know, they dwell on what they have yet to master. This creates a subtle but powerful tension between humility and brilliance. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And for gifted individuals, that privilege is often accompanied by the weight of relentless introspection. Their spirituality deepens through this process because each doubt becomes an invitation to look within, to confront the hidden chambers of the psyche where truth and fear coexist. In moments of self-doubt, the gifted person doesn't simply feel inadequate. They experience the echo of every possibility they haven't yet fulfilled. Their mind races not because it is weak, but because it is hungry for meaning, precision, and truth. They see what others overlook. They sense what others ignore. And this sensitivity, though profound, often becomes heavy to carry. In the silence of their thoughts, they replay every word, every action, every missed opportunity, seeking to understand what they could have done better. Yet this endless analysis is also the mark of spiritual awakening. For when the ego dissolves, the mind becomes aware not of what it owns, but of what it still has to learn. And this humility is the soil where wisdom begins to bloom. Self-doubt for the gifted is like a mirror that reflects both their light and their shadow. They do not merely question their ability. They question their purpose, their place in the universe, and the meaning of their existence. Jung believed that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. When gifted people doubt themselves, it is often the unconscious whispering to them, calling them to recognize their unseen depths. It is not failure trying to destroy them, but the psyche trying to awaken them. Every wave of uncertainty, every moment of hesitation becomes a sacred test of faith, an opportunity to transcend old versions of themselves and to align their outer life with the quiet knowing of their soul. The spiritually awakened mind understands that doubt and growth walk hand in hand. Without doubt, there is no expansion. Without humility, there is no transformation. For those who are truly gifted, confidence does not come from certainty, but from awareness that every unanswered question, every moment of hesitation, is part of the journey toward self-realization. Their spirituality teaches them that to be human is to be in constant evolution, to oscillate between fear and faith, shadow and light, until both dissolve into one. And so, the gifted continue their path, carrying their self-doubt not as a curse, but as a compass, a reminder that the greatest minds are not those who claim to know everything, but those who never stop searching. 5. Obsessive focus. When something captures your attention so deeply that you can't rest until you've fully unraveled its meaning, that's not mere stubbornness. It's the mark of a gifted mind. Obsessive focus is the sacred fire that burns within those who are born to understand what lies beneath the surface. In spirituality, this intensity isn't a flaw. It's a divine signal from your higher self, calling you to explore the mysteries that others overlook. When an idea, problem, or vision takes hold of you and refuses to let go, it's your soul recognizing alignment with your true path. Carl Jung believed that the ability to concentrate deeply bridges the conscious and unconscious worlds, and through that bridge, the self awakens to its hidden wisdom. That's why you may find yourself unable to stop thinking, researching, or creating until clarity emerges. It's not an obsession. Its purpose is expressing itself through you. This inner pull can make you seem distant or preoccupied, but it's actually a profound form of devotion. Think of a composer lost in the melody that only they can hear, or an inventor so immersed in thought that time disappears. You may forget to eat, lose track of hours, or feel an unstoppable rush of insight that arrives like divine lightning in the night. You're not distracted, you're connected to something greater. In moments of deep focus, the boundaries between you and what you study begin to dissolve, revealing the spiritual truth that the observer and the observed are one. This is not just concentration, it's a form of spiritual growth, a moment when consciousness expands beyond the ordinary and touches the essence of creation itself. Yet even this sacred fire must be tended carefully. When your focus becomes too consuming, it can trap you in endless loops of perfectionism and restlessness. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Your focus must serve your awakening, not enslave it. True mastery lies in knowing when to surrender, to step back, breathe, and allow your intuition to speak. When guided by awareness, obsessive focus transforms from mental pressure into spiritual flow. It becomes a meditative state in motion, where every thought, every detail, every breakthrough becomes part of your soul's evolution. Those who misunderstand your intensity might call it strange or excessive, but what they see as obsession is simply your deep relationship with meaning. Gifted souls don't chase distractions. They dive into depth. They feel an inner demand to reach truth, not comfort to understand, rather than escape. Spirituality teaches that this hunger for knowledge is the language of the soul, reminding you that curiosity is sacred. Your fixation is not madness. It's devotion to the unseen pattern behind life. Every sleepless night spent solving, creating, or learning is proof that your consciousness is expanding, preparing you for higher understanding. So when you find yourself caught in that familiar state of relentless focus, remember, it's not a weakness to be cured, it's a compass pointing you toward your evolution. What others call obsession is often the soul's way of saying, don't stop now. You're close to the truth. Each moment of deep engagement refines your mind and strengthens your spirit, awakening you to the vast intelligence that flows through all things. This is how spiritual growth unfolds, not in comfort, but in the sacred fire of focus that turns thought into wisdom and effort into awakening. Leave your like and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. And don't forget to activate the notification bell so you never miss a moment of insight on your spiritual awakening. If today's message about obsessive focus helped you understand your own gift on a deeper level, share this video with someone who needs it. And type in the comments, "My focus is my divine power." 6. Heightened sensitivity. Your heightened sensitivity is not a weakness. It is one of the hidden signs that you were born gifted. You may find yourself easily overstimulated by bright lights, loud noises, or rough textures. Yet this sensitivity also allows you to experience the world with a depth and vividness that most people cannot imagine. You don't just see, you feel every detail, every vibration, every subtle shift in the atmosphere. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And part of that journey is realizing that your sensitivity is not a flaw to fix, but a gift to understand. You are like a finely tuned instrument, one that resonates with the energy of life itself. This sensitivity means you perceive beauty, emotion, and truth on frequencies others may never reach. And while it can sometimes feel overwhelming, it also makes you spiritually awake to the interconnectedness of all things. When you walk into a room, you can sense the unspoken emotions lingering in the air before anyone speaks. You can feel when someone is hiding sadness behind a smile, or when tension fills the silence. This is not imagination. It is energy recognition. Carl Jung believed that sensitivity is the foundation of intuition, the bridge that connects the conscious and unconscious realms. Your system absorbs the emotions, intentions, and vibrations of others because your awareness operates beyond logic. That's why crowds can feel draining and superficial conversations can feel unbearable. You are not reacting too much. You are simply processing life at a higher resolution. Spiritual wisdom reminds us that the more awake your senses are, the more responsibility you carry to protect your peace and maintain your balance. Your gift allows you to detect hidden truths, but it also requires you to master energetic boundaries so you don't carry what isn't yours. This heightened awareness is often the mark of an old soul, someone who came into this world already knowing how to feel deeply. It is the same quality that inspired great visionaries, artists, and mystics throughout history. People whose sensitivity allowed them to translate invisible emotions into poetry, music, and innovation. They didn't see their sensitivity as fragility. They saw it as the doorway to creativity and spiritual awakening. As Jung said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. You might have suffered because of how deeply you feel, but that very depth is what shapes your wisdom, empathy, and understanding. You are capable of perceiving patterns in chaos, hearing meaning in silence, and finding divine order where others see confusion. You may often feel like you are too much for the world, too emotional, too aware, too intense. But in truth, you are exactly as you are meant to be. Sensitivity is not about weakness. It is about perception. It allows you to tune into life's hidden rhythms, to sense divine timing, and to align your actions with your soul's calling. The world needs people like you, people who can feel beyond the surface and bring light to what is unseen. The key is to honor this part of yourself instead of fighting it. Protect your space, listen to your intuition, and use your empathy with intention. Your sensitivity is not something to escape. It is your spiritual compass guiding you toward truth. Through this lens of spiritual wisdom and Carl Jung's insight, you begin to see that your sensitivity is the universe's way of awakening you. It teaches you to slow down, to notice what others ignore, and to live in alignment with the subtleties of existence. You are not fragile. You are finely tuned to the divine frequency of life itself. The lesson hidden within your sensitivity is this: the more deeply you feel, the more deeply you can love, create, and awaken. And when you learn to embrace that, you stop surviving your sensitivity and start thriving through it. 7. Pattern recognition. You naturally see patterns where others see randomness, connecting events, emotions, and experiences with a clarity that feels almost prophetic. This ability to detect hidden order isn't just intelligence, it's a reflection of a deep spiritual awakening. Your mind operates like a finely tuned instrument, always decoding meaning beneath the surface of life, linking what appears unrelated into one continuous thread of purpose. What others dismiss as coincidence, you recognize as synchronicity. What others call luck, you understand as divine timing. This isn't imagination, it's intuition aligned with higher consciousness, a bridge between the physical and spiritual realms that few truly perceive. Your analytical intelligence doesn't stop at logic. It expands into emotional and spiritual insight. You notice how patterns in your relationships repeat until lessons are learned, how emotions return until they're released, and how opportunities resurface until you are ready to embrace them. Carl Jung once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your gift of pattern recognition is the essence of this truth. It reveals how energy moves, how cycles unfold, and how your inner world shapes your outer experience. You are not merely thinking. You are perceiving life through the language of symbols, archetypes, and hidden design. Yet with this heightened perception often comes a sense of isolation. Because while others drift through life unaware, you stand at the edge of awareness, feeling both the beauty and burden of seeing too much. You understand connections that others overlook, and this can make you feel misunderstood or out of place. But what feels like alienation is actually initiation, a call to awaken deeper spiritual wisdom. You are being guided to recognize that nothing in your life happens at random, that every challenge, every person, every emotion is part of a greater pattern shaping your soul's evolution. The moment you stop resisting and start observing, you begin to understand that spirituality is not about escaping reality, but about decoding it. When you walk through life with this awareness, everything becomes meaningful. You begin to read the world like a sacred text. The way a stranger looks at you, the repetition of numbers, the timing of a conversation, even the silence between words all become signs from the universe. This level of perception is not just a skill, It's a responsibility, because the more awake you are, the more clearly you see the interconnectedness of all things. It's as if the universe itself whispers to you in patterns, guiding your steps toward transformation. So when you notice these recurring connections, when your intuition warns you, or your mind links events that others ignore, understand that this is your soul communicating through consciousness. You were not meant to live on the surface. You were meant to dive deep, to trace the hidden geometry of existence, and to bring light to what others overlook. In spirituality, this is not an accident, but a sign of awakening. The same wisdom Carl Jung described when he said the psyche speaks in symbols. Your gift is not to simply think, but to see, to read between the lines of life and translate energy into understanding. This is the true art of spiritual awakening. The realization that every moment, no matter how ordinary, is part of a greater pattern woven by divine intelligence. 8. Perfectionism. Perfectionism is not vanity. It is a quiet, spiritual hunger for excellence that lives deep within you. You don't chase perfection to impress others. You chase it because you see infinite room for improvement in everything you touch. There's an inner voice that whispers, "You can do better, refine more, reach higher," and you can't silence it. You sense possibilities others overlook, details others ignore, patterns others miss. It's as if your soul is wired to polish reality until it aligns with the vision in your mind. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, and your perfectionism is part of that journey." It's not about control. It's about harmony between your potential and your expression, between your inner truth and the world that receives it. You notice the slightest imbalance, the faintest imperfection, the smallest deviation from what feels right. To others, your standards may seem unreachable, but to you, they're natural, because your mind doesn't stop at good enough. You see creation as something sacred, and every act of improvement is a form of devotion. This is where spirituality meets craftsmanship, the unseen art of aligning the human and the divine through attention, effort, and presence. Your drive to perfect things is not ego, it's reverence for possibility. Yet sometimes, this gift feels heavy. You may find yourself revising endlessly, doubting your progress, feeling haunted by the thought that it's still not there yet. But this restlessness is not a flaw. It's evidence of a soul that knows evolution never ends. Still, perfectionism carries a paradox. It fuels growth, but it can also exhaust you. You hold yourself to impossible standards, and when you fall short, you suffer quietly, believing you failed. But what if this striving is your spiritual training ground? What if the lesson isn't about reaching perfection, but learning to see beauty, even in the unfinished? True spiritual growth begins when you allow yourself to be both the sculptor and the sculpture, constantly shaping, yet never condemning. Jung reminded us, no tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. In the same way, your pursuit of excellence must embrace imperfection. For without flaws, there would be no evolution, no wisdom, no soul. The deeper truth is that perfectionism, when guided by love and awareness, becomes sacred discipline. It transforms anxiety into artistry, fear into focus, self-criticism into self-mastery. Each time you strive to improve, you're not chasing an illusion. You're refining your alignment with your higher self. But the real mastery comes when you learn to release control, to trust that your effort is enough, to surrender the need for flawless outcomes and instead cherish the process of becoming. That is the highest form of spirituality, turning the endless climb for perfection into a dance of acceptance and grace. When you reach that understanding, perfectionism no longer imprisons you. It liberates you, teaching you that true perfection is not about the absence of flaws, but the presence of awareness, love, and purpose in everything you do. 9. Feeling out of place. You've always felt like you didn't quite belong, haven't you? Like your mind moves in directions others can't follow. Like you're seeing the world through a lens too sharp for most people to handle. You sense things others overlook, and your thoughts seem to travel to places where logic and intuition meet. This is not a weakness. It's one of the hidden signs that you were born gifted. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that truth holds deep spiritual wisdom, because your difference is not a flaw to hide, but a divine design that sets you apart for a purpose. There were times you tried to fit in, to silence the parts of yourself that felt too deep, too intense, too curious. Yet the more you tried to conform, the more alien you felt. Jung taught that the shoe that fits one person pinches another, reminding us that life doesn't offer one-size-fits-all paths. Your journey was meant to be unconventional. That sense of isolation you've felt isn't punishment, it's preparation. The universe often pulls gifted souls away from the noise of the world so they can hear their inner voice clearly. That quiet whisper of intuition, that feeling that something greater is guiding you, is not imagination. It's your compass calling you home to your truth. You experience emotions in high definition. You feel pain deeply, but you also experience beauty and joy with unmatched intensity. This sensitivity can make life overwhelming at times, but it's also your greatest superpower. It allows you to read between the lines, to feel what others can't say, to sense energy before words are spoken. You were born to notice the invisible, the emotional, the spiritual, the energetic patterns that shape existence. Many people live on the surface. You were born to explore the depths. That's the nature of spiritual awakening. It begins when you stop judging your sensitivity and start recognizing it as a sacred gift. Carl Jung believed that our life's purpose is to make the unconscious conscious, to integrate what is hidden within us into awareness. When you feel different or misunderstood, it's often because you've glimpsed truths others aren't yet ready to see. Your mind and spirit operate on a higher frequency, one that challenges you to bring clarity where there is confusion. And while this awareness can make you feel alone, it also makes you a light in a world still half asleep. You are not meant to follow the crowd. You are meant to illuminate what lies beyond it. Rumi once wrote, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." That's the essence of your being vast, deep, and immeasurable. So when you find yourself standing apart, remember that every moment of solitude is sculpting your strength. Each time you feel unseen, the universe is teaching you how to see yourself. Every misunderstanding is a mirror, asking you to trust your own perception. Feeling out of place is simply your soul's way of saying you were never meant to stay small. You are here to bring spiritual wisdom to a world that often forgets its own soul. As Carl Jung revealed, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. And the very fact that you've always felt different is proof that you are already awakening slowly, powerfully, into the extraordinary being you were always meant to be. 10. Endless curiosity and deep focus. You were never meant to accept life at face value because your mind was designed to question, to peel back layers, to seek the truth behind appearances. This endless curiosity that drives you is not a sign of restlessness. It's a sign of higher intelligence and spiritual sensitivity. You don't just see what is, you sense what could be. When others stop at why bother, you begin with why. Your questions are the sparks that ignite your growth, each one pushing you closer to spiritual awakening. Carl Jung once said, "To ask the right question is already half the solution of a problem." That is why your mind refuses to rest. It is not chasing chaos. It is chasing clarity. Your curiosity is the inner compass of your soul, guiding you toward wisdom that can't be found in textbooks, but only through deep personal revelation. This same inner force fuels your remarkable focus. When something matters to you, the rest of the world fades into the background, and you become fully absorbed, time dissolves, and you enter what scientists call flow, but what mystics recognize as communion with the divine. In that state, your consciousness expands beyond logic. You are not just thinking, you are becoming the thought. Jung called this the bridge between the conscious and the unconscious mind, the sacred space where inspiration is born. Your focus is not mere discipline, it's devotion. It is how your soul interacts with the universe, how spirit channels through you to create, to innovate, to reveal. This is why you might lose track of hours when working on a project or exploring an idea that fascinates you, because in those moments, you are aligned with purpose. Yet this gift often makes you feel misunderstood. People may see you as obsessive or too intense, but what they don't understand is that depth is your natural habitat. You were never meant to skim the surface. You were meant to dive. Your mind hungers for meaning, not distraction. You question everything because you sense there's always more to uncover, more to understand. You are not detached from reality. You are deeply connected to it on a level that most never reach. Your endless curiosity is not rebellion. It's reverence for truth. And your ability to focus is not a flaw. It's the mark of a spiritually attuned mind that refuses to waste energy on the trivial. This is what true spirituality looks like, not passively accepting what is told, but actively exploring what is hidden. Your curiosity is the fire that awakens the sleeping parts of your consciousness, and your focus is the vessel that channels that energy into creation and mastery. Together, they make you a seeker, a thinker, and a creator of new realities. When you merge your questioning nature with your deep focus, you don't just learn, you transform. And in that transformation lies the very essence of spiritual wisdom, the ability to see through illusion and uncover the living truth that lies beneath everything you touch, study, and become. Remember, true spiritual gifts often hide beneath layers of humility, solitude, and quiet observation. If today's message helped you recognize your own inner light, honor it and let it grow. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might need this awakening, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming explorations into the mysteries of Carl Jung's truth and your own spiritual evolution.